Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our June 2020 customer webinar. I'm Aaron Gillette, Marketing Director at TownNews. Today, Susan Bell, a Senior Product Manager at TownNews, and Christine Masters, Director of Product Management, will show off the latest revamp of our BLOX Now mobile app. This update has some really exciting modern design changes and new personalization and video features that you just won't find anywhere else. It's a game changer. The presentation will take about 30 minutes and will be followed by a Q&A. Please type any questions into the chat box and we'll answer them at the end of the session. We're recording the webinar and we'll share the link with everyone when it's available on our website. Take it away, Susan.
Thanks, Aaron, and good morning to everyone. We're real excited to be able to talk about our greatly anticipated 4.0 release of our mobile product, the Now app. So today's agenda, we're going to go through some personalization features and behavioral recommendations. We're going to talk about continue watching, which is a functionality that lets you kind of start a video one place and finish it on another device. We have a lot of cross-platform functionalities in this release that are really cool, and we'll go through each of those. We'll discuss briefly our revamped user interface for our iPad and Android tablets. The big thing about this release is there is a big design change in this release that we're calling kind of a flat design that you're able to deploy after we upgrade your app, or for new customers when you deploy the app. We have a ton of additional card styles to help us show off our content, make things a little easier and more readable on the app. So that's what we're going to try to cover today, and we'll end with a live demo actually of the 4.0 application, and then we'll have a Q&A session. So let's get started. First thing we're going to talk about is our recommended for you functionality that is in this app. In the previous version of the app, I'd just like to talk about for a minute, we did deploy a login page option. People are mainly using this right now if they have a paywall, and typically not deploying this unless somebody runs into that paywall on an article page. You do have the option in the current version of the app to deploy a login page at the beginning. We did this for things to come, and this kind of is those things to come. So with a user being able to sign in, we can learn a lot about that user, and we can also utilize cross-platform functionality. So recommended for you is recommended content. It is with the same system as our CMS recommended content is. So this does require you to be a member of our IQ Engage program. So recommended for you is deployed two ways. It is a block that we pull over onto the Now app. So if a user signs in, we are able to generate behavioral recommendations with this particular block and then assign it a card style. So the behavioral recommendations are, if you're not familiar with that, or any particular audience that your user base, that a particular user, after they have a particular amount of activity with politics, for example, then they get that recommended content on the website. So now on the Now app, if they have that behavior on the website, or if you have our OTT applications, if they engage with the recommended content is there too, or get and put it into an audience there, on the Now app, it will present recommended content for them for those audiences that they're signed up for. So you don't have to deploy the login page at the beginning of the app, because we have also implemented, once you put the blocks on the page, whether the user signs in or out, or signed in or out, they have two things that will happen. If they're not signed in, we have this call to action, which you can see on the right-hand side of the screen. And this is a call to action that is customizable, so you control the messaging in here. Simply asking the users to sign in and reminds them of what they're going to get when they do sign in. So sign in here, and we can offer you recommended content. After the user is signed in, whether they do it at the beginning or whether they use the call to action to sign in, you can see below the call to action block there that we have a recommended for you block that will populate as their audiences are populated. This block on the Now app feed actually is presented in what we refer to as a horizontal horizontal slider, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute as we go over card styles. But the horizontal slider basically is from left to right, and it populates content, recommended content for the user base there. So very cool that this is cross functionality. It's cross device. And like I said, this behavior connects our users when they sign in to the website, to our mobile applications, to our mobile web, and to our OTT platforms. On the same vein for our cross-device, cross-platform customization features, we also have continue watching. So you don't have to be a member of any particular program to use continue watching on your app. We just have to have the users sign in. So again, the same process. You can offer that login screen however you want to. You can do it at the beginning of the app, or you can use our call to action blocks here. This is a personalization block that you call over to put into the app. And when a user does sign in from the call to action or at the beginning, then we present continue watching in the same manner in that horizontal block. So if you start watching a video on the website and then you log into your application or your mobile application, you can see from the screenshot there that it will show the user, hey, I watched this earlier on one of my devices, and this is how far I got. So you can see the progress indicator bar there, and that will remind the user kind of how far they got in the video, and then they're able to resume where they left off. So again, really cool. This is cross devices. If you start watching a video on OTT or you start watching a video on the website, you can finish it on the Now app. And the same thing from the Now app back to the website as well. Again, this does require a user to log in, which is why that login functionality is going to be really important in our 4.0 release. I'm going to pause just for a minute to let Christine talk a little bit about these two functionalities to make sure I didn't leave anything out. Christine?
No, that's great. Yeah, we're really excited about having this, and I think, like Susan said, the most important thing is that it is cross-device. So there's a lot of kind of user stories that we've heard from people being at work and looking at something on their computer, and then they want to be able to go home and watch it on their app or watch it on their OTT device. And this really provides that cross-function capability so that they can perform the kind of use that more along with their lifestyle. So we're really excited about being able to offer this advanced functionality.
And as we go through this deck today, if you're starting to ask questions like, how do I set this up and things of that nature, don't worry, because we actually have a how-to doc that we're going to send out to everybody. So we just wanted to introduce the features here today. So moving along. Another thing that we are trying to do is introduce features that create a better user experience in line. So our customized updates and news, this refers to the push notification channels that are on your app right now. So right now the experience in the app is that when a user downloads the app, they are opted into every channel that you have set up. You may have 1 or 10. It's completely your choice how many channels that you have set up in the app. So when we default all those channels on for the user, the only way for them to turn any of those off, if they're not interested in that particular topic, is to engage with the settings panel that's in the hamburger navigation. So what we've introduced here is a inline onboarding for your asset feed. We have 2 different presentations for this onboarding. One is a horizontal slider, and you can see from the screenshots that it presents all of your different channels, all of your different topics for your notifications. So the user can turn those on and off directly from the asset feed. In addition to offering this online onboarding or inline onboarding, we also have created within the notifier in the push notification setup, there is actually defaults there where you can actually control what defaults are going to be turned on and off for that initial download. So if you only wanted breaking news coverage and the rest of the notification channels turned off for your customers at initial launch, you can now set that up in the notification panel. And then the user takes over, obviously, after that. Once they've downloaded the app one time, then they're in charge of their customization at that point. but this is a really great feature. This should help users engage in the push notifications and their personalization experience and using the apps. If you add a new channel after launch, these inline onboarding cards that we're looking here, either the vertical or the horizontal presentation, will automatically update. This always matches what's in the settings panel. But as we know, or as a user, my own personal experience, I don't like engaging in settings panels. People don't use them very often. So we're trying to kind of break apart the settings panel and make sure that there's a different way for our users to engage with that information, just so that we all have maximum opportunity for success with our push notifications. And our highly anticipated tablet design. So when we first launched the Now app, we launched the mobile version on the tablet, which is what you see now. So there was a lot of opportunity for improvement on that. It didn't rotate, it didn't fill up the whole screen. So in 4.0, we will release it's a tablet specific design. So it will look different, but similar to the mobile application. You can see in the screenshot that it kind of breaks the asset feed into two columns. So you get your asset feed and then you get an article view on the same screen. The most important thing about our tablet design and what we've heard from you guys that customers want is that we need orientation rotation. So you can look at this vertically and then you'll be able to flip your orientation horizontally and then it will dynamically adjust to the screen there as well. We are going to launch the iPad design only using feature cards right now, which most people are only using feature cards in their app. In a couple of minutes, when we go through all of our cards, you'll see that we have 8 other options for cards. But in the tablet design for this initial launch, we're only going to be using the feature card there. This is one deployment in the store, so it's still the same. We only have to deploy one application in the store, so your audience is all under the same release for this. It just deploys differently on the iPad. So more to come on the iPad design. We'll hand out other examples closer to time, but we're really excited about being able to reveal the iPad and the Android tablet designs for our customers. So we, along with the blocks, this is another block. So we have the recommendation, the personalization blocks. We have recommendations. We have continue watching. The notifications is actually a block. And this floating breaking news, as we refer to it, is a block that you can pull over and use. This creates a breaking news block that can go anywhere within the feed in your asset feed. So breaking news right now in the screenshot, you can see that it is hard fixed at the top of the app. And it triggers from a flag from the CMS, but you don't have any control over where it goes on the feed. We have future plans for things that we're doing, and this was kind of the first rollout of this, but this floating breaking news block does give you the ability to put this anywhere in the feed, so that as you scroll down, you can notify users of if it's an important story, things like this. This is actually deployed from the summary block, which is one that's initially pulled over in the setup of your app, and it's just a card type that you select for the breaking news. Christine, I'm gonna let Christine talk about this too for a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that and I think we'll talk about this in an upcoming slide as well. But the really cool thing about the Now app is that we really bring a lot of the concept that made us kind of the great CMS that we are on the web, bringing that into the kind of app space by basically bringing that same drag and drop functionality. That's why we call it blocks, is you can move the blocks around on the page. And so we're bringing that concept into the app, and I think it's really exciting. And this is just an example of, in the previous version of our app, like Susan said, you could put the summary block in certain locations, and then that would become a breaking news location. But you couldn't put it lower on the page, or you couldn't move things around as you wanted to. It was just that that you're creating stories in those specific spaces. This is truly, and that's why we call it floating, is that you can really put the breaking news block if you wanted to have, maybe you want to have a breaking news block at the top and then a top story block and then a weather block using the breaking news functionality lower on the page. You can do that now. You weren't able to do that before. So we kind of truly have drag and drop functionality and being able to create your own experience as you need to on the fly using the blocks philosophy. So it's a really great feature, and we're excited about seeing what you guys can do with this.
Thank you, Christine. So probably the biggest visible change in this app is the new modern design. So let's take a few minutes and talk about what this means. So if you have an existing app with us right now, you are on what I refer to as a rounded design. It has rounded corners on your cards. It has gradations behind the text. It's got a lot of shadows and things like that in there, a lot of opacities on things. So we really try to listen to what you guys want and what your users have requested, and that's better kind of readability in the app. So we've created a new modern design here. It's a crisp modern design with square corners, very few text elements that will overlap pictures, and no shadows or gradations. This is such a big improvement on the design of the app. Everything is just very clean. It's very easy to read. I think that everybody's going to get really good feedback from the customers on this. How this works in the release is right now everybody's on the rounded design. When we update your app to 4.0, nothing will happen. You will still be on the rounded design. In the Now App admin panel, so your app will function just as it is. We did it that way because we want the design of your app to be your choice. So in the admin panel, there is two options under the general tab that you can pick your theme. So you have your rounded theme, which you're on, and then you have a flat theme. So even if you go in, and the flat theme is offered now, you can see it. Even if you went and selected the flat theme right now, it would not impact your app until it's updated to 4.0. So after your apps are released, you can go in and you can click the flat design. It will automatically move within, within a couple of minutes, move your app over to the flat design. It maintains all of your colors. It maintains all of your card types. It maintains everything. It just flips it over to this very clean design and removes those rounded edges, the shadowing, and the gradations from your app. So the important part about this is that everything that we're going to talk about in the presentation today beyond this slide was designed to be used with the flat design. So the rounded design supports everything that you have launched right now, and then the flat design, you'll be able to utilize all of the new cards and stuff. This is the direction that we're going in for the future, is to use this flat design instead of the rounded. Just our feedback from you and from the users, this is the direction everybody wanted to go in. And again, we're going to send out documentation, but I think the important takeaway from this slide, the two important takeaways is A, this is going to be a tremendous opportunity to present a very slick design to your user base, and nothing's going to happen immediately. When we update your app, you're going to be fine. Everything looks exactly like it is and functions like it is, and then you make a choice when you want to flip the switch here. So now we're going to talk about the new card designs. The philosophy of this app when we first created it was we really wanted each customer to be able to build an app that was unique from any other customer. So in order to do that, we wanted to be able to have, different blocks, you to be able to move those blocks around so that you had control over where your content was going to live, and also different presentations for that content. So in the design that is live now, we have a feature card in there, which is a 16:9 card that presents a photo and your headline on there in that presentation. So over the next few minutes, we're going to go over 8 different card types that are going to be available to you. The first is a mega card. This is similar to the feature card, but it's bigger. The purpose of this card is importance of your content. you know, if it's important or it's a promotion or any kind of content that you want to highlight within those asset feeds, this card is going to be a great way to do that. It's got a 1-by-1 photo on there. The headline's much larger, and again, this is kind of an accent card, accent your content, and to be able to make it stand out for users. All of these card types that we're going to talk about today are simply under the appearance tab. So after you have your asset feed show up, you literally can just go into the content editor, and there's a drop down with your feature card lived before, and all your different card types are there. And it's really just a click of a button to change presentations on this. And again, just to note that these are only available in the flat design. So our next card that we're going to talk about is our extended detail card. This card's really cool. You know, we do know that, you know, some of our users, you know, do have a short attention span. This card allows you to offer not only the story that you're trying to present, but it also offers related coverage. So it's a little bit bigger to draw attention and shows additional related content below the main text. You can see from the screenshot there that, you know, the headlines there, your photos there, and then your related content coverage is there. So this pulls in up to 3 related coverage stories. Those bullet points do link to the article page. So they all have a link in there that links to those particular stories on there. And again, this is just modified by the appearance tab in the content editor to get your stories this way. So this is a neat way to be able to offer other content on your cards within the asset feed before you get to an article page. The ability is already there on the article pages. We just wanted to bring that in the asset feed and give that to you as an option.
And Susan, just to jump in here for just 1 second, I just wanted to kind of point out, you know, to kind of emphasize the idea of being able to redesign your app on the fly. You know, a lot of other apps are kind of a shell of a design, and you're pulling in RSS feeds from your CMS to kind of fill in the blanks for the shell of the app. This is truly a drag and drop application that you can redesign on the fly as needed. So I think the extended details card is a really good example of where if you have a big breaking news story and you want to really draw attention, like Susan said, to that story, you can actually change the front page of your app on the fly without doing an app update through the store, anything like that, and decide that you're going to put a extended detail card talking about, you know, the protests going on in your town. You upload the photo, you change around the related content items, and then you have a new app experience literally on the fly within a couple of minutes. So this type of thing and the power of these different types of presentations is really exciting.
Thank you. And moving on with the same theme of being able to, you know, change all of your content on the fly, as Christine was mentioning, is the headline with preview card. You know, we wanted to be able to offer some card styles that allow you to utilize real estate space on the asset feeds. In our previous version of the app, or the version that you're live on now, in the appearance tab, there's actually 2 different cards there. There's a feature card and there's a headline card. I don't know how many people are utilizing the headline card, but it is there for you to use now. So what we wanted to do is not only create that headline card in that flat style, but also come up with a headline with preview card. So you have kind of 2 different options for presentation here. This is a great way to stack a block of content. You know, similar stories. You can really get a lot of stories on the page using these 2 cards here. The images to the right, you can put 4 decks of information for your headline there, and it's 16:9 presentation for your photo. But you know, this was a request that we heard from you guys wanting the preview on the headline card, so we're happy to be able to offer that. Then we have a square card. I was talking about this the other day and everybody laughed because the description of this is it is a square. So this allows you to kind of block information here in this style. It's great to highlight maybe smaller promotions and stuff that you have going on. You only have one deck there, one line for your headline, and then it offers a photo. So it's a good way to have a block of things if you have photos or things of that nature, or like I said, a special promotion or something like that. And you have a series of things that you want to display together. So the square card is just another option for appearance of your content. The 2-column grid card, kind of the same concept as the square card, except for you get more detail on this card here. So the 2-column presentation of content is really good, again, for kind of more minor stories. I do like to point out that it really does utilize real estate better. And a lot of our cards do that. You know, some of them highlight important things and some of them just allow you to get more on the screen. You know, the feature cards just stacked on top of each other, you know, the users have to do a lot of scrolling to get through all the stories. You know, here you can offer 4 stories in a block presentation like this, where it would take, you know, a scroll to see all that from your user base. These cards do have up to 4 lines for the headline there. So you can really get a lot of information on there. And you change this and set it up in the same way as you do your other cards in the appearance tab. So again, a click of a button, you can change your presentation for this. So I'm going to backtrack to our feature card and then talk about the multimedia card. Our feature card right now has the ability in our current application to play video. Not a lot of people use that card to play video. We're just using it really to highlight article assets. So in the 4.0 release, that feature card actually will just be that. It will just be to highlight article assets for your content. So we pulled the video capabilities from that card and we created a new card specifically for audio and video presentations. This is inline. So this is native video that you would upload and specifically put on a card that you would want the video to play in line without, you know, having to go to an article page and then click on a video for, you know, whether it was a parent asset or a child asset. So this card is going to be, it's 2 players that switch out. It handles MP3s, which is any kind of audio content, MP4, which is typically our video on demand content. And the cool thing about this card is it's going to have live stream capabilities, which is that M3U8, so that you can actually play your live streams if you have them in line. But this does kind of differentiate the card style from the feature card. And like I said, a lot of people weren't using the feature card for the video capabilities. But this gives you a card that's specifically for your multimedia content here. And we've been talking about the horizontal slider kind of throughout the presentation today. So the horizontal slider is, and Christine was talking about this, you know, with the breaking or the floating breaking news bar, you know, the ability to kind of move things around. So right now we have a pinned content area that you can turn on or off at the top of the screen. The horizontal slider card is basically your pinned content region, but you can place it anywhere in your feed and you can assign whatever content that you want to it. It's cool. It's a great utilization again of your real estate on the app because this is right to left scrolling. And then you can put as many assets in these horizontal sliders as you want to. Again, you can move these around and place them throughout the feed as you want to. You know, eventually we want you to be able to design these apps however you want. So the pinned content area will be an option of where you want it. You know, right now the pinned content area will remain there and remain fixed, and then the horizontal slider will be your option to put anywhere you want to. So another, you know, the way people are using video right now are basically, they're using it on their WebKit pages, on the article pages. So we wanted to have a indicator to communicate with our users to say, hey, we do have video with a story. We have users that are, you know, that may only engage in video with stories. People view content differently, whether they want to read it or watch it. So within your asset feeds, if your article does have video in there, we have this population of this indicator button that you can see on that screenshot there. This will populate on the mega card, the feature card, the headline with preview card, horizontal slider, and pin content. And you can actually expose this just through global settings in the Now app admin, or you can actually, you have control over the individual card types to deploy this or not. But like I said, just another communication with the users that says, hey, this may have something that you're interested in if you're a video watcher. So that's the video play indicator. And this save across devices, this kind of goes along with what we were talking about at the beginning of the presentation with recommended content and continue watching. So we've always had the ability to save in the Now app. If you slide any of your asset cards in your feed over to the right, it will expose a save button. If you slide it over to the left, it will expose a share button. What we've done in this release is we have extended the save functionality cross-platform. So if you save a video on the website and you go into the application, you go into the hamburger navigation and you go to save, the saved page, those videos will populate there. Whether you save them on the website or whether you save them on your mobile web, OTT, or your mobile application, it populates the save for the devices. On that page, you can also remove the pages or the content, when you get through with them. So this is really cool functionality, and again, just really highlights the cross-platform customization features that are in this release. So we had a couple of more additional features before we do a quick live demo, and I know I'm pushing my 30-minute time limit here. But we do have an accent color bar that you're going to see. You're going to see this in the general settings, and you're also going to see this on the appearance area for each of the card types or each of the card setups. The accent bar, there's a couple of different screenshots there. That middle one highlights it best. That maroon accent bar there. It is a flat version of a drop shadow is what it is. You can use the accent bars or you don't have to use the accent bars. You can, globally make them all one color and deploy them, or you can really highlight different sections of content by coloring the accent bars differently just to kind of group things together a little bit better. So that you have the ability to do that again, globally or individually. The logout workflow we added to this release because we have a lot more, many more reasons for the users to sign in. Again, in the previous version, people are really only using the login function if they have a paywall, but there's no way for you to log out of the app. So automatically, there's no setup involved in this. In your menu down by settings, you will see a login or log out. If you are not logged in, it will present a login, which is just another opportunity to get users to sign in for us. And after you log in, it will dynamically change to log out so that users are able to log out of the app if they wish. Additional block titles, we added this, and this is so that you can differentiate between blocks of content and the asset feeds. That first screenshot there where you see top stories, that is an example of a block title. And like I said, it just kind of will allow you to better communicate to your users what they're looking at. So you can kind of just differentiate that by using the block titles in here. We also do have the ability for block title notes on some of the cards that you'll see in there. And that would be a note under the head, under the block title where it's applicable. We'll take just a second and talk about, I've mentioned a couple of times that this is a lot of different functionalities, and we know that you may not be 100% comfortable setting all of this up. So we've created a how-to documentation on how to set each of these up, and we will be sending out an email with that documentation on there and also with contact support for assistance on this so that you can reach back out to your account manager, and then we can walk you through any of the questions that you have or any of the setup assistance that you need for this. So I'm going to show you a live version of the app. We're going to take just 2 or 3 minutes and do this. Okay, I'm hoping everybody can see my screen. Christine, can you give me confirmation that you can see my screen?
Yep, I can see it. Looks great.
Okay, thank you. So this is a beta version of the app that is live. We actually have 12 properties that are live with 4.0 right now. KMOV in St. Louis is one of those. It's a great app to download just to get a feel of what the flat design looks like and the new card styles in there, but I'm just going to run you through a couple of things. So again, the flat design with takes all the gradations away. It put blocks in there, accent bars. We're just going to kind of scroll through here. You can see the square presentations for different content. You can see mega cards. And what this application does here is it shows you, and again, we're kind of still in feature cards here, but here is a horizontal slider that gives you the ability to go back and forth here. And you just really save a lot of real estate. And it's just a really cool thing to break up the monotony of just feature cards stacked on top of each other here. So as we scroll down this feed, we'll see some more horizontal sliders here. This is an example of the horizontal slider of the notification topics. And you can see for a user, it's easy as a click of a button. As I turn on top headlines here and breaking news here, if I go to my settings page and go to notifications, you can see that it follows my lead there. Here's an example of continue watching. I'm actually already signed into this app. I'll sign out in just a second to show you what the call to action blocks look like. But here's continue watching. These are a video that I actually previously watched on the website, and this section automatically populated for me when I signed in. You can see the indication bars. When I click on the video, which I'm not going to do now because there'll be sound, it'll start where I left off here, and that's indicated by this red bar. Here's an example of the headline with preview cards stacked up, and this is followed. And again, they're using block titles here to let everybody know what's going on. More headlines, top stories. This could be a particular topic. And then to use even more real estate, down here they just have the headline cards. And this uses even less real estate than the headline with preview. So you can kind of see there's kind of a progression in the app with really important things at the top that are in bigger card styles, and it kind of decreases card style and importance of the content as you go down to the feed, where you can really get a lot of content on these pages. And I'm actually going to go to the menu, and there's my log out button because it'll notify me that I'm logged out. I'm going to go, and I didn't mean to do that, but I'm going to go and I'm going to refresh my feed. And you will notice too that we did upgrade the icons in this app so they're consistent. The saved used to be a star, but when you slid over the cards to save a video, it was a star. So we did update some consistency things throughout the app for icons. So I'm going to refresh my home feed. And I'm going to show you what the call to action blocks look like. I'm using an emulator, so it's a little slow. So I'm not signed in now. So this automatically transfers over to this call to action block. And now I can sign in directly from here. So this is entitled News for You, but this is recommended content here. Again, you have complete customization over all this. What you title it, what your logged out message is. You can even upload your own icon. So this can be what it is. This can be whatever you want it to be as well. To highlight this, to get users to sign in, you can actually change this accent bar and do some cool things like that.
If you don't have the Now app at all, please contact your sales representative to get started with the Now app. If you're looking for documentation on this or any other TownNews product, visit help.townnews.com. Support is available at 800-293-9576 or support.townnews.com. Our partner community is a great place to swap ideas with other Town News customers, and it is at community.townnews.com. And you can follow the status reports for our services at townnews.status.io. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, and sign up for any newsletters you would like to receive by going to townnews.com, clicking news, and as you scroll down in the right column, you will see the Stay Connected block here that allows you to select which newsletters you'd like to sign up for. So please do that. Thank you very much to Susan and Christine for this great walkthrough of the revamped BLOX Now app. It's an incredibly impressive new update. So very exciting and great job. Thank you very much. And thanks to everyone who attended the webinar. We will talk to you again next month.